Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Hopefully everybody's having an awesome Tuesday, October the 14th, after Green Bay got this win against the Cincinnati Bengals. I've been in the lab here breaking down the tape all morning long and excited to get Chalk Talk together. If it's not ready for tonight's show, it'll definitely be ready for tomorrow. Really, really excited to dive into that. We've got 14 plays, most of which are positive, a couple negatives, just to kind of dissect and see what happened, why did it happen, what went wrong in a couple different situations. But for the most part, mostly positive. And, I was listening to Ryan Schlip's podcast earlier today, and I think it might have been from actually yesterday's podcast over at Packernet. And he did an excellent job of just laying it out of how people were being a portion of the fan base being overly negative and not looking at it through the right lens. It's like we expect the Packers to play at this level to be absolutely perfect at all times, while the rest of the league is literally stumbling all over themselves. So what I thought we would do is let's dive into some of the power rankings. I want to give a shout out to Bill Huber, one of my favorite follows over on X. Make sure you guys are following him. I'm sure if you're following me, you're already following Bill Huber. He writes for Sports Illustrated and over at SI.com and does an excellent job with that. And he done a good job of putting together a consensus of the updated power rankings. Now, I know immediately some people hear power rankings and they think, who the heck cares? I care. I think it's a good way of keeping your finger on the pulse, right? As you go through the season and see, all right, how is your team performing currently? We talk about breaking the season down into quarters, right? The first 4 games, second 4 games, third 4 games, fourth 4 games. And then, of course, you got that extra game now with the extension of the NFL season. So I think it's a good way to just kind of keep an eye on other teams, but more importantly, the Packers and where the national media sees them. It's easy to get caught up in just ESPN's rankings or just ESPN's daily shows like First Take and some of these shock jock type programs. And you not that you take that as gospel, but it tends to be kind of the focal point, the mouthpiece, if you will, right, of the entire National Football League. I think it's awesome what Bill Huber does, as how he goes around multiple sites, multiple different websites, different shows, things like that, and kind of get you a consensus of the power rankings. So that's what we're going to do here today on this early show. We're going to break down the power rankings. We're also going to talk about where the Packers currently sit if the playoffs were to start today. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. If you guys would, let's do that YouTube stuff real quick. Go ahead and hit like, subscribe. If you're new here, thank you for making us a part of your afternoon. Welcome into PTA. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We are fans just like you talking Packers on the daily. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live. Like tonight, we'll be going live at 6 p.m. Central Time for PTA Live, Packers Total Access Live, where we're going to break down a number of different statistical categories. That's the plan. If Chalk Talk's ready, we may dive into it. I'd like to hold it till tomorrow because there's a bunch of information that I want to go through on the show tonight and kind of see where the Packers offense is sitting, where they're ranked in the important categories, where their defense currently sits, maybe where Jordan Love's at. Oh, by the way, we'll talk about Matthew Golden later on. He has been nominated for NFL or NFC Rookie of the Month or Rookie of the Week, I believe it is, presented by Pepsi. We'll break all that down, all the details there. Make sure you guys go look for that over on X and vote for Matthew Golden having an awesome, awesome game there against the Cincinnati Bengals. I want to give a shout out to Jarrell Lee becoming a member again here on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Jarrell. Appreciate you. We got Drew in the house with the Go Pack Go. Everybody following in. Thank y'all for jumping in here on short notice, man. Love getting in here and talking football with you guys. And the plan is to do morning shows moving forward, okay, starting on Monday. When I say morning shows, every Monday morning we'll have us a Monday morning show. And then obviously as we get it a little deeper in November, this will become we'll go live in the morning for a show. We'll go live in the evening for a show as well. We want to keep the content churning for you guys and gals. Appreciate y'all supporting everything we do here at PTA. Let's jump into it. So the article here by Bill Huber, I thought he'd done an excellent job with it. Consensus NFL Power Rankings, Packers rise in Mayhem Field, Week 7 update. Guys, go to his X account. Just search Bill Huber. He'll pop up. He's got a huge following. Make sure you go give this article a click and a read, okay? If you would. I reached out to him the other day, and he kind of gave us the green light to show some of his stuff here on the show. Like I said, been a big fan of his for quite some time. So As he said in the article, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the new number one team in our consensus NFL power rankings. After that, there's almost no consensus at all. Why do I mention that? It's exactly what Ryan Schlip talked about, right? And the fact that the league is just there's so much parity across the league. Everything is just flipped upside down. 1 second, this team is the best team in the league. The next second, they're one of the worst teams in the league. It just, in the blink of an eye, like you could see what happened to Detroit the other night, right? Listen, I love making fun of Detroit and the Lions fans. I enjoy it way too much, to be honest with you. It's unhealthy. But the fact that some people think the Lions are just dead in the water now, that's not the case either. This goes both ways, right? It was fun watching them have no answer for the Kansas City Chiefs and getting their butts kicked and then crying about it afterwards, starting a fight. And then the guy who started the fight ended up almost tearing up in the locker room saying he was bullied on the field. Just hilarious how that goes, right? But again, the reason I bring that up is the Lions aren't as bad as they may seem right now, and they never were as good as they seemed, at any point in the season. It's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is, if that makes sense. So, again, the Buccaneers, here's what's cool. There's only 2 teams in the NFC that only has 1 loss. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the other's the Green Bay Packers. Just a little spoiler alert for later on today. All right, so it goes on to say, Green Bay, Wisconsin, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the number 1 team, and the Green Bay Packers moved up to number 4 in the Packers on SI's consensus NFL power rankings for week 7. Our consensus power ranking takes 8 sets of national power rankings and turns them into 1 superior power ranking. This week, the only consensus is Tampa Bay is the best team in the NFL. The Bucs received 7 of 8 first place votes. So again, they're taking this whole every one of these different websites, different establishments, and giving you all the rankings. So it says after that, it's nothing but mayhem. And after a chaos-filled week 6, the Los Angeles Rams are number 5. They range from 2 all the way down to 11. Pretty wild, right? The Buffalo Bills are number 7. They range from number 3 all the way down to number 16. The Seattle Seahawks are number 8. They range from 3 to 13. The Chiefs are 9. They received the 1 first place vote that didn't go to the Buccaneers. They also rank 10th, 11th, and 13th. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who will host the Packers next week, are number 11. They range anywhere from 3 to number 15. The Packers were 7th at this time last week. They were number 3 after their 2-0 start, but fell to 6 after losing to Cleveland, and 8 after tying Dallas. So again, it's up and down, up and down, up and down all year long. So here's where you'll find the Packers in this week's consensus rankings, with their individual marks ranging from 2nd to 9th. So some sites have them 2nd, others have them in 9th place. Check out the longer analysis at the links. So you can click on these links in his article. Make sure you go check that out. You can go check out why CBS had them ranked number 2. So CBS Sports, or NFL on CBS, I'm sure, has the Packers ranked 2nd in their power rankings. So only 1 team that's above them. The Packers rocketed up 5 spots in Pete Prisco's rankings, even though they didn't finish off the struggling Bengals into the final moments. All right. Or I think it said until is what it meant there, until the final moments. At 3-1-1, they came off their bye and handled the Bengals, even if it wasn't pretty. As the defense showed better than it did in the loss to the Cowboys, they've been hit hard by injury. So again, CBS has them 2nd. Next, Fox Sports has the Packers ranked 4th. Green Bay climbed 3 spots in Ralph Vacchiano's rankings. The score was a little closer than it should have been, but the Packers' 9-point win over the Bengals was more convincing than it looked. That's not unusual for Green Bay. So again, Fox Sports has the Packers sitting in the number 4 spot. All right. Moving along, The Athletic. In Josh Kendall's rankings, the Packers moved up 4 spots from last week. This week's theme is fantasy focus with this note about Romeo Doubs. Quote, Doubs was the 3rd Green Bay receiver to be selected by fantasy managers and had an average draft position of 160 this year. So far, he's the Packers' most productive pass catcher with the 77th highest fantasy score at 13.08 points per game. Not mentioned was the 3 of Doubs' 4 touchdowns came in 1 game. Matthew Golden also merited a note there talking fantasy. So again, The Athletic has the Packers ranked 4th, a top 5 team in the entire National Football League. All right, moving along, NFL.com has the Packers ranked 5th. Eric Edholm says he inched the Packers up one spot. He liked what he saw from Josh Jacobs and Matthew Golden. He didn't like what he saw on the other side of the ball. Quote, I'm starting to wonder if Green Bay's defense is truly an elite unit. It has looked pretty pedestrian in the past few games, and the Pack have forced just 2 turnovers all season. One on a first half Hail Mary. That's worth noting, right? That one of those interceptions, obviously Xavier McKinney's interception, actually came on a Hail Mary, a gimme interception there. However, I will point out they have the best run defense in the entire league as it sits right now. Last I checked, we'll give you those updated numbers this evening on PTA. So the fact that you say it's pedestrian, I don't know how you can have arguably the best run defense in the league and it be pedestrian. That makes sense. But again, he has them ranked 5th overall. I don't know how you can have a pedestrian defense and still be a top 5 team, but you have the number 1 rush defense. So disagree a little bit there, but love the analysis. So again, NFL.com has them 5th. ESPN has the Packers ranked 6th. The Packers moved up 2 spots in ESPN's beat writer rankings. This week's theme is lesson learned for Rob Demovsky. It's that the Packers are playing with fire. So Rob Demovsky says, quote, the Packers are the only team in the NFL that has held a double-digit lead in every game this season, he wrote. However, the Packers lost to the Browns, tied the Cowboys, and had to hold off the Bengals. They've established a dangerous way to live. To me, that's been the Matt LaFleur era, guys. And again, I don't see that as a negative. Would I love the Packers to blow every team out? Absolutely. That would be unbelievable, right? What a life we would live as a Packer fan, just knowing we kick our feet up every Sunday and you win by 3 scores. That's not the National Football League. And I'll tell you this, what I appreciate about Matt LaFleur and why, by the way, he is 13th, I repeat, 13th all time in winning percentage amongst head coaches in the history of the National Football League. Guys, you understand, in the history of the National Football League, of all the human beings on the face of the earth that could coach an NFL team, he is 13th best in terms of winning percentage. Again, when you talk about they're playing with fire, they don't really run away with victories, this, that, and the other. What teams do? Name the coach in the NFL right now that beats the crap out of every opponent every single week. I'll wait, because they don't exist. Andy Reid's arguably the most decorated head coach in the league right now, and you see what's happening to them. You've seen what happened to them last year in the Super Bowl, right? Get their crap kicked out of them. So this whole idea that unless you win by 3 scores, right? Because you're saying, well, Clayton, I'm not saying 3 scores, I'm saying 2 scores. We beat Cincy by 2 scores, right? So I don't get it. And I think the reason that teams hang around, or the reason that Matt LaFleur doesn't put his foot on the opponent's throat, and I'm just going to be real here, I see it in the opposite direction. I think I was just having a conversation with someone on Twitter earlier today. They were like, he doesn't have that, he plays too conservative down the stretch. He plays too scared. I'm going, what are you talking about? We did it again this week. We should have ran the ball. If you want to play it conservative, you could have ran the ball and played it a little safer. Instead, what did we do? We came out there on a third down, called a passing play. Jordan gets sacked, or on a second down, he gets sacked. And then on third down, Jordan goes out there and throws an absolute dime piece for a 30-plus yard first down to Matthew Golden. What is conservative about that? You had less than 3 minutes left in the game in the Cleveland game, third and short situation. You could have ran the ball, and if you pick up the first down, they use their last timeout, you're probably going to win that game, right? It's pretty much over there. It's just a matter of running the clock out. And what ended up happening? They end up throwing on third down. Why? Because Matt LaFleur was too aggressive. I would love to live in a world where the fans who think Matt LaFleur is too aggressive meets the fans that think he's too conservative. Because again, I feel like he's too aggressive at times. He's throwing the ball when we should run it. But at the same time, if it works, and by the way, he's 13th all-time in winning percentage, like I mentioned, it's obviously working. He's not perfect. The team's not perfect. It's the youngest roster in the league. There's going to be ups and downs. I'm really happy where this team is. I think you got yourself in a position to create some serious momentum throughout the second quarter of the season, readjust at the halfway mark, and then finish strong and try to go on a playoff run. So that's just how I see that. And again, in no way, shape, or form am I trying to knock Jordan Love in those situations. Here's the thing. If you're constantly trying to win the ball game, throwing the football on a third down, even if it's a third and short, you're going to miss some of those. That goes with the territory, right? It's just like the interception we're going to highlight on Chalk Talk that he threw there in the first quarter on Sunday against the Bengals. It's easy to look back on it and go, man, stupid decision. You should have kicked the field goal there, right? But then again, when the game's on the line on that third down situation, and he just throws an absolute dime piece dart to Matthew Golden to essentially win you the game, you love that. You don't complain about that. But we're complaining, myself included, that, man, why not play it conservative there, throw the ball away and kick the field goal? And now all of a sudden you're winning by, instead of it being 27-18, you end up winning that game 30-18. I guarantee you, isn't it wild that if you win 30-18, these fans are not saying anything? But the fact that you only won 27-18, they're acting as if Matt LaFleur is just the worst coach in the history of the game. I don't understand it. It's mind-boggling to me. So again, anyway, ESPN has the Packers ranked 6th. All right, let's go on to Pro Football Talk. They have the Packers ranked 6th. Mike Florio moved the Packers up 3 notches. So while some fans think that that was just a horrible win over the Bengals, you've got Mike Florio, who, by the way, I mentioned this specifically. Mike Florio is an avid Packer hater. He's a huge Minnesota Vikings fan. He has done nothing but hated on Aaron Rodgers when he was in Green Bay. He's done nothing but bash the Packers. He moved them up 3 spots after they beat the Bengals by 2 scores. Pretty good sign, right? Moved them up 3 notches in his rankings. He noted, quote, after a visit to Arizona, a date with Aaron Rodgers looms. Imagine that. Mike Florio cannot stop thinking about Aaron Rodgers. So again, Pro Football Talk has them 6. Yahoo has them 7th. The Packers held steady at number 7 in Frank Schwab's rankings. He was less than impressed with the win over Cincinnati. So this is the opposite end of that spectrum, right? The Packers did enough to beat the Bengals, but it still wasn't close to a world-beating team from the first 2 weeks. The Packers are still good, but maybe not quite the team they look like very early in the season. That will be determined when the schedule gets tougher. I agree with that. We're going to find out what this team's made of when you go out and you have to face some of these other tougher teams. Like Pittsburgh's going to be a great measuring stick, right? Pittsburgh's sitting at 4-1, I believe, if I remember correctly. So I think that's going to be a great opportunity for the Packers to put themselves on the map. And then, of course, Sports Illustrated, Connor Orr, who is bullish on Jordan Love, moved the Packers up 4 spots, all right, to 9th. So again, that's the consensus. Rattle through them again. 9th, 7th, 6th, 6th, 5th. There was a 4th in there, a 2nd. And again, just to go back to what he mentioned early on here, they actually fluctuate from where was it at? I may not be able to find it now, but they fluctuated from, I can't remember how many spots it was. Yeah, I've lost it here. The Packers were 7th at this time last week. They were number 3 after their 2-0 start. So there you go. Here's where you'll find the Packers in the consensus rankings. All right. So again, you got them as high as 2 and as low as, what was the low number there? The ads make this skip around. Let me just make sure here. I think one had them 9th, right? Yeah, 9th. So anywhere from 2nd to 9th in terms of the power rankings there. And again, shout out to Bill Huber for putting that awesome article together. Now, where does that put them in the playoff hunt, right? This is pretty cool. So if you go to the National Football Conference, the NFC playoff standings, guys, if the playoffs were to start today, the Packers would be the number 2 seed. They would be the number 2 seed. And it's amazing to me how we went into this season and people were saying the Packers are going to start 0-2. They faced 2 of the toughest teams in the league. Detroit Lions, Washington Commanders. They came out and handled both of those with no problem at all. You start 2-0. And then, of course, you lose to the Browns, you tie the Cowboys, and then you defeat the Cincinnati Bengals by 2 scores, right? Isn't it amazing how we went from you're going to start the season 0-2, and now you're sitting here and going into week, whatever it is, 6 now, 7, whatever we're going into, and you're sitting at 3-1-1, the number 2 seed in the NFC, and all of a sudden people are pretending like the Packers has just been this horrible letdown. What? Again, it's not having the proper expectations of the National Football League. Any given Sunday, people hear that and they roll their eyes and say it's a cliche. That's a cute little saying, right? That's as old as the league itself. No, it's true. The worst team in the league is this close to the best team in the league. I know people have a hard time believing that, but it's a fact. It's true. Any team can beat any team on any given Sunday. That's why you got to appreciate the victories. You got to live in the moment and relish on a victory Monday, man. And I'm telling you, what I've continued to do, and it's a constant battle pretty much on a weekly basis, is when you see those people pop up in the mentions, when you see those people that are just constantly negative, just hit that mute button. You ain't got to be rude back. I'm not saying be rude back. Just hit the mute button and you never see their tweet again. and you move on, and you talk to the more rational fans. You talk to the more rational people that are not as emotionally high strung, if that makes sense. So I wish I could chat with you guys in here in the comments, man. I know it's kind of hard to keep up with sometime when we're flying solo. I'll try to hit on a few here though. Judy in the chat, love is my QB. Amen to that. He also said it was a 2-score victory. Amen, dude. Amen. Again, I never thought we'd be in a place as a Packer fan that we would be upset about winning by 2 scores. It just blows me away. Blows me away. Ed Madden in the chat said, not bad rankings and beat down wins are nice for 1 week. Amen to that. So, yeah, just trying to see here. Joe Pack in the house says, nah, you need the haters. Watching them eat crow is like Thanksgiving every week. That's a great point, man. Detroit's giving us plenty of that right now, right? Chicago is kind of on the uptick. I thought they looked okay last night. Now, listen, the Commanders gave the Bears that game, right? I mean, absolutely gave it to them with that fumble in the rain. If it hadn't been for that, the Bears are, staring down a loss there as well. We'll see what the Vikings do coming out of the bye. Can Carson Wentz keep that thing alive? When is J.J. McCarthy coming back? All those questions, right? Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the North shakes out. Right now, it feels like a 2-team race, but man, in the blink of an eye, who knows? The Bears could pop up there too, right? And consider and make themselves contenders in the conversation. But yeah, man, it is fun watching them eat crow for sure. The receipts are hilarious, man. It's so easy to just search somebody's Twitter account. Just go up to that search bar, right? Click on their profile, click on the search bar, and type in whatever you want to search. And it's amazing how people are emotional week to week. Ed Madden also says the number 1 spot in the rankings is kind of the kiss of death so far. That's a great point, right, Ed? I know this isn't a popular way to fan, and I'll wrap up with this, but the way I fan, guys, I wait all year long for football season to start. Man, I'm not going to be miserable while I'm watching football. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to try to embrace the positive, acknowledge the bad, and understand what happened with the bad. And sometimes that may call for a change in a coaching staff. That may call for benching a quarterback or benching insert whatever positional player, right? It's just not the case right now. It's not the case with this team. And what I was getting at there, Ed, is you just want to be in the hunt. You want to punch your ticket to the dance and give yourself a chance in the playoffs. That's what you want to do. You want to be playing your best football going into the playoffs. So that's why I don't get overly concerned with early in the season. If a team starts to struggle a little bit, get that stuff cleaned up right now, right? And you create that momentum, and you have your best football on display going into the playoffs. That's the ultimate goal. So, all right, guys. We got Christopher in the house. Christopher Cooper, good to see you, buddy. This is Preach, brother. Hey, thanks for making us part of your afternoon here, man. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to go through the power rankings with you real quick. I took a break. My eyes were going across doing all the film study. We've watched every snap through for the 3rd time, or this will be the 3rd time as I put Chalk Talk together now. We've got everything identified. 14 plays. We'll be breaking that down for you, like I said, most likely tomorrow evening. But make sure you guys click subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live. Like tonight, 6 p.m. Central, jump in here. We're going to talk about all the rankings. We're going to talk about how the offense ranks, the defense ranks, where Matt LaFleur sits. If I have time, I'm going to put a little Patreon article together for everybody over at Patreon to where we can kind of dive into as well I want to see where Matt LaFleur, we know where he's at all-time winning percentage. He's 13th in the history of the game. I want to see kind of where all his offenses has ranked throughout the last however many years he's been in Green Bay. I want to kind of see, all right, has he been legit a top 10? I'm pretty sure he's been a top 10 offense every single year that he's been the head coach in Green Bay, right? So just want to kind of put some of that stuff in perspective as well. And we're just going to hang out and talk with the chat this evening. So make sure you guys jump in there. Also, if you want to support what we do here at Packers Total Access, you can join our Patreon community, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. $3 get you access to everything on the site, and also get you entered into the giveaways. It's just a way for us to give back extra content, extra giveaways, things like that for those who are supporting the channel. If you're not familiar with Patreon, you can just join here on YouTube as a member as well. That's it, guys. We will see you this evening, 6 p.m. Central for PTA Live. Everybody have an awesome day. This is PTA. My name's Clayton. Go Pack, go.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.